Okay, so as an anthropologist, I'm going to start with a story, and hopefully by the end of this, it all makes sense. So, at a public meeting in a small town in northeast Brazil, a consultant facilitating an introductory session to the Water Pact found himself in a heated exchange with a municipal worker known for his long history of union activism. The meeting was convened to explain what the Water Pact was and to invite audiences to join the initiative. Promoted as a mechanism to protect water and increase access for the poor, the Pact's objective was to involve citizens in water management by asking them to commit to action at any level they saw fit. At the meeting, the consultant extended his hand to perform the act of handshaking that seals a pact. Waiting to feel the hand of his interlocutor join his, he turned towards the municipal representative to find that, in fact, he had interlaced his hands behind his back and taken a step away from him. With overflowing wit and authority, his bodily relocation playfully displayed his temporary refusal to shake the consultant's hand. After all, pacts need to be taken seriously. This meeting was one of hundreds of similar events where citizens, state, and non-governmental organizations publicly committed to care for water and help solve some of the many difficulties that the state faces, including inadequate water distribution, limited storage capacity, and increasing pollution of their fragile water sources. Through more than 200 meetings, the organizers of the Pact worked to secure promises from all participants, written on index cards or colored pieces of paper, exhibited on the walls of meeting rooms, sealed with handshakes, and later transcribed into an official document published by Congress. The multiple promises the Pact was made of gave it an unprecedented character. Never in the state of Ceará had so many people participated in a collective project like this. By the end, almost 10,000 participants and 86 institutions had been involved in this pact-making process. Now, you probably are expecting me to tell you what happened after the pact was finished, whether it was successful or not, how many new kilometers of water pipes were installed, or how many new households were connected to the water infrastructure. But I'm not going to tell you about that. Instead, I'm going to ask you to remain focused on the moment of the handshake, on the moment of promise-making, and maybe wonder why would thousands of people across Brazil commit to act for water via handshakes and public promises. Pacts and promises are at the center of what it means to be a social being. They allow us to participate in larger collectives, and they help us define and manage common goods, such as water. But pacts are puzzling, and they are difficult to keep. In part, I want to suggest, because we use them as time machines. We use promises to challenge conventional time separations. We normally think of ourselves as living in the present, yet pacts reveal something a little bit different. As sets of promises, pacts condense people's histories, routines, and habits, and the things that bring them to where they are in the present. Yet at the same time, they also step into the future by creating paths of action that we hope to follow. They create debts and relations of responsibility that shape our common future. When we make a commitment, vow to do something, or pact with one another, we are stretching ourselves across these different time frames. Although we might think that the future is that which lies ahead, pacts and promises bring that future into the present, especially in regards to collective objects of concern, such as water. They make the future and the past spiral into each other. So when the hands of the consultant and the municipal worker in Brazil touch, these hands are recreating the fate of these two people. Collective pacts and promise-making rituals speak about the things that are important to us, about how the future might unfold in the present, and about the ways in which collective projects are organized. I remain captivated by how the desire to change the future To make it different from the present and to do so collectively requires imaginative ways of committing people's will, histories, and dreams. It requires different types of pacts and promises. So the next time that you shake someone's hand to seal a promise, that you publicly commit to do something, or that you pact with a friend to keep his secret, consider the complexity of that moment. Remember the histories that you're responding to, imagine the futures that you are creating, and recognize how amazing it is that we can commit to each other across time. Thank you.